My sister showed up at my door with a U-Haul and her 3 kids, demanding I hand over the keys to my house, the one I worked 60-hour weeks for 5 years to buy. She claimed our mother promised her she could have it because I don't have children, so I don't need the space. When I refused, she called me selfish and tried to guilt-trip me with our dead father's memory. But what she didn't know was that I had cameras everywhere, and what those cameras caught that night made me realize my entire family had been plotting against me for months. Story development, 300 words. Let me back up. I'm 9F, child-free by choice, and I work in tech. After years of saving every penny, living with roommates, and working my ass off, I finally bought my dream house 6 months ago. 3 bedrooms, beautiful backyard, in a great school district. Ironic, since I don't have kids, but it was a good investment. My sister Melissa is 33F with 3 kids ages 4, 7, and 9, and has always been my mother's favorite. Melissa got pregnant at 19, and since then, our parents have basically funded her entire life. They paid her rent, bought her cars, gave her money for emergencies that somehow happened every month. Meanwhile, I was told I needed to learn responsibility and got cut off financially at 18. I put myself through college, worked multiple jobs, and clawed my way to a 6-figure salary. No help, no handouts. When I bought my house, my family's reaction was ... weird. My mom said, "That's a lot of space for just one person." Melissa didn't even congratulate me. She just asked if she could stay over sometimes when the kids are too loud at her apartment. I should have seen the red flags. Last Tuesday, I came home from work to find Melissa's van and a U-Haul truck in my driveway. She was directing 2 guys to unload furniture onto my lawn. "What the hell are you doing?" I shouted. She smiled like this was completely normal. "Moving in. Mom said you agreed to let us stay here. The kids need more space, and you're barely ever home anyway. I never agreed to anything." That's when my mother stepped out of the U-Haul, and what she said next made my blood boil. If you're loving this drama, smash that like button, subscribe so you never miss these crazy stories, and comment below what country are watching from. Let's go. My mother crossed her arms and looked at me like I was the problem. "We talked about this at Christmas, remember? You said you'd help family when they need it." I said I'd help in an emergency. "This isn't Melissa has an apartment. Her lease is ending," Mom said flatly, "and rent is going up. She can't afford it with 3 kids. You have 3 empty bedrooms just sitting there." I stared at them in disbelief. "So you just decided I'd give up my house?" "Not give up," Melissa said, annoyed. "Share, that's what family does. Dad would have wanted us to help each other. There it was using our deceased father as emotional blackmail. He'd passed away 2 years ago, and they knew that mentioning him would hurt. Dad worked his whole life to provide for his family." I shot back. "He'd be proud that I bought my own house. He wouldn't expect me to just hand it over." "You're being selfish," my mother snapped. "These are your nieces and nephews. They need stability. You're one person, you don't need all this space. I earn this space." Melissa stepped forward, tears suddenly streaming down her face. "Please, we have nowhere else to go. The kids are scared. Don't you love us?" The manipulation was unreal, but I stood firm. "You're not moving in. Leave. Now." "Fine," my mother said coldly. "But don't come crying to us when you need family support. You're making your choice." They left, but not before Melissa screamed that I was a heartless bitch in front of her crying children. I thought it was over. I was so wrong. Because that night, I checked my security cameras and discovered something that changed everything. I have Ring cameras covering my front door, backyard, and garage, mostly for security, but also because I'm paranoid about package theft. That night, I reviewed the footage from earlier in the day before I got home from work. At 11 a.m., my mother's car pulled up. She got out with a key, my house key. She let herself in like she owned the place. For the next 2 hours, she and Melissa walked through my house, pointing at rooms, measuring walls, and discussing where they'd put furniture. They went through my closets, my personal belongings, even my financial documents on my desk. This office would be perfect for the oldest, Melissa said on camera. We can put bunk beds in the other 2 rooms, and she barely uses this master bedroom, Mom added. You and Jake could take this one. Jake, Melissa's boyfriend, who she'd been on and off with 4 years. She was planning to move HIM into. But the worst parts came at the end of the footage. My mother stood in my living room and said, she put up a fight at first, but she give in. She always does. We'll guilt her about family, about your father, and she cave. She's too soft. Melissa laughed. And if she doesn't, we'll just stay anyway. What's she gonna do? Call the cops on her own family? They high-fived. My hands shook watching this. They'd planned this. They'd stolen my key probably duplicated it during Christmas when I left my purse and attended. They fully intended to move in, whether I agreed or not, and they assumed I'd be too soft to stop them. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. I didn't sleep that night. I was too angry, too hurt, too done with their entitled bullshit. The next morning, I called a locksmith and had every lock changed by 10 a.m. Then I called my security company and upgraded to a system that would alert police automatically if anyone tried to break in. But I didn't tell my family, not yet. Sure enough, the next day my mother showed up with Melissa, and the kids again, this time with even more stuff. They had air mattresses, boxes of toys, kitchen items. They were really doing this. My mother walked up to the door and tried her key. It didn't work. She tried again. Nothing. I opened the door with the chain still on. Can I help you? Your lock is broken, Mom said, annoyed. Let us in. The lock works fine. You just don't have the right key anymore. Her face fell, then twisted with rage. You changed the locks. On your own, mother. On the person who broke into my house, went through my private documents, and planned to illegally move her family into my home. Yeah, I changed them. Melissa pushed forward. You're seriously doing this? Where are we supposed to go? I don't know, Melissa. Maybe try finding an apartment you can actually afford. Maybe ask Mom to help you wait. She's too busy breaking into my house. We're family. Melissa screamed. Family doesn't break into each other's houses and try to steal them. I shouted back. I have you on camera, all of it. Planning this whole thing, going through my stuff, laughing about how I'm too soft to stop you. The color drained from both their faces. And that's when I dropped the real bomb. I've sent the footage to the family group chat, I said calmly. Everyone now knows what you tried to do. Aunt Linda, Uncle Tom, Grandma, they've all seen you breaking into my house and planning to take it over. My mother's hands were shaking. You wouldn't. I already did. Check your phones. Melissa grabbed her phone. Her face went white as she scrolled through dozens of messages from family members, most of them condemning what she and Mom had done. Aunt Linda, what the hell is wrong with you two? Uncle Tom, this is theft, actual criminal behavior. Grandma, I'm ashamed. Your father would be disgusted. You've turned the whole family against us. Mom screeched. No, you did that when you decided to commit a crime, and then lie about it. I just provided evidence. We're your family. Melissa was crying, now real tears this time, not the manipulative ones. Then act like it. Family doesn't steal from each other. Family doesn't break into each other's homes. Family doesn't plan to squat illegally and dare each other to call the cops. Where are my kids supposed to sleep tonight? Melissa wailed. Not my problem. You had an apartment. You made choices. Deal with the consequences. My mother stepped closer, her voice low and venomous. If you don't help us, you're dead to me. You'll never be welcome in this family again. I looked her dead in the eyes. Good, because I'm done being manipulated and used. I'm done being the family ATM. I'm done sacrificing my life so you can enable Melissa's terrible decisions. I closed the door in their faces, and honestly, it felt amazing. But the story doesn't end there, because they tried one more thing that was absolutely insane. 3 days later, I got served with legal papers. My mother and Melissa were suing me, claiming I'd verbally promised them the house, that I was violating implied family contracts, and that I was causing emotional distress to the children. Their lawyer was some budget attorney who clearly took the case because they lied about the situation. The lawsuit was nonsense, completely baseless, but it still meant I had to respond and get my own lawyer. which cost me $3,000 in legal fees. I was furious, but I was also prepared. At the preliminary hearing, their attorney presented their case. My clients were promised housing by the defendant, who is their family member. They relied on this promise and terminated their lease. My attorney interrupted. "Your Honor, we have video evidence that directly contradicts every claim being made. We played the security footage. All of it. My mother letting herself in with a stolen key. The two of them going through my house without permission. The conversation where they planned to guilt trip me and squat illegally if I refused." The judge's face went from neutral to absolutely disgusted. "Let me get this straight," he said to their attorney. "Your clients broke into the defendant's home, planned to move in without permission, and are now suing because she locked them out of a house they don't own." Their attorney looked at my mother and Melissa with betrayal in his eyes. They'd clearly lied to him about everything. "Case dismissed," the judge said firmly, "and I'm sanctioning you both for frivolous litigation. You owe the defendant her legal fees plus an additional penalty. They owed me $5,000. The look on their faces was priceless. But the absolute best part, what happened next made everything worth it. My mother and Melissa couldn't pay the $5,000. They tried to get other family members to help them. But after the security footage went viral in our family and honestly, on Reddit, yes, I posted it, no one wanted anything to do with them. Aunt Linda actually called me to apologize. I had no idea they were this entitled. Your mom always made it sound like you were the difficult one. I'm sorry I believed her. Turns out my mother had been telling everyone for years that I was selfish, that I refused to help family, that I thought I was too good for them now that I made decent money. She'd been poisoning the well, preparing everyone to side with her when she eventually tried this stunt. But the evidence was undeniable. Melissa had to move in with our mother into our tiny 2-bedroom apartment. Last I heard, it's going terribly. The kids are cramped. Jake left her because he didn't want to deal with the drama, and she's working 2 jobs trying to make ends meet. My mother had to take out a loan to pay me the court-ordered fees. She sent me one text, "I hope you're happy. You've destroyed this family." I didn't respond. As for me, I'm thriving. My house is peaceful. I got a promotion at work. I've reconnected with family members who actually respect me. And I've learned a valuable lesson. Just because someone is family doesn't mean they get to walk all over you. I don't regret standing my ground. Not for 1 second. So Reddit, I for changing my locks and refusing to let my entitled sister move into my house that I paid for. Update. The overwhelming response has been NTA, not the asshole. And honestly, reading your comments has validated everything I've felt. Thank you. Some people in the comments asked if I feel guilty about the kids being in a cramped apartment. Honestly, a little. They didn't ask for entitled parents. But here's the thing, me enabling their mother's poor decisions wouldn't help those kids in the long run. Melissa needs to learn that actions have consequences. She needs to provide for her own children instead of expecting everyone else to do it. Maybe this will be the wake-up call she needs, or maybe not. Either way, it's not my responsibility to sacrifice my life, my home, and my financial security because she made different choices than I did. I worked hard for what I have. I don't owe anyone my house just because we share DNA. And if that makes me the bad guy in my mother's eyes, I can live with that. The ends.